40 seconds, a login page, a database, a payment screen, a working app out of one sentence. No CS degree, no docs, no Stack Overflow tab open at 2 a.m. That was honestly the best demo in the history of software. It was also a receipt nobody read, because nobody in that 40-second clip can answer the one question that actually matters. What happens when it breaks? That question, what happens when it breaks, sounds like a complaint. It isn't. It's a receipt. And to understand why the bill is coming, you have to understand why this felt so good in the first place. For over a year, the pitch has been the same. You don't need to learn to code anymore. You just describe what you want. We gave it a name, vibe coding. And for prototypes, for getting an idea out of your head and onto a screen before lunch, it is genuinely magic. I'm not going to pretend it isn't, but here's why it feels so good, specifically. Writing software used to mean holding the entire machine in your head at once. The language, the framework, the database schema, the way the deploy pipeline would silently fail on a Friday. All of it, stacked, in your skull, at the same time. Vibe coding deletes that. You describe the vibe, make me a dashboard, add a dark mode, let users log in with Google, and the model fills in the how. It feels like flying because you put down something heavy. And here's the part people miss when they call this revolutionary. This trade is not new. Every single time hardware got faster, we spent the surplus the same way. We stopped understanding the layer below us. Assembly programmers thought C developers were soft. C developers watched people write Python and called it a toy. Each generation handed off a little understanding for a lot of speed, but every one of those trades kept a floor underneath it. You could still drop down a level when you had to. The abstraction leaked, you went and read what was under it. This one doesn't keep that floor. This one is the most extreme version of the bargain ever invented. The fastest one. The one with the least understanding kept in reserve. Because here's what's actually happening when you ship a vibe-coded feature. You are not writing software. You are approving it. You are reading, or skimming, or not even skimming, a block of code you could not have written yourself, and you are clicking accept. And you cannot meaningfully approve something you cannot read. And here's what I didn't see coming. This isn't a prediction. I'm not guessing at something 5 years out. The vibe-coded apps from last year are already in production. Right now. The bill is already being sent. By the end of this, I'll show you exactly what that bill looks like. Real apps, real numbers, the whole thing. Now, the bill. The bill doesn't arrive as an opinion. Opinions are easy to argue with. The bill arrives the first time the app breaks and the AI cannot fix its own code. Not won't. Can't. It rewrites the same broken function 4 different ways, each one confidently wrong, each one introducing a new failure, until you're further from working than when you started. So I tested it. I sat down and gave a current model a real bug in a codebase it had written, not a toy, a real one, and I counted how many rounds it took before it either fixed it or made it worse. And if you think that's just me, just my codebase, a bad day, it isn't. The Stack Overflow Developer Survey for 2025 asked tens of thousands of developers what frustrates them most about working with AI. The number one answer wasn't that the AI is dumb. It wasn't that it's slow. It was this: AI solutions that are almost right, but not quite. Roughly 2 out of 3 developers, 66%, pointed at that exact thing as their biggest source of frustration. Sit with that for a second. The complaint isn't that the AI is wrong. We know how to handle wrong. Wrong fails loudly. Wrong throws an error, the test goes red, you catch it before it ships. Almost right is worse than wrong, because almost right ships. It passes the demo. It looks correct. It sails through review from someone who couldn't have caught it anyway. And then it sits in production quietly until the one input it can't handle shows up. And I want to be very specific about where I'm standing when I say this. I'm not a purist. I didn't come down from a computer science department to tell you that real programmers don't use AI. I learned to code because I had to, out of necessity. No degree, no pedigree, no permission. And I use AI every single day. I'd be slower without it, and I know it. But I'll tell you something I'm not proud of. I used to be in the second group without knowing it. I thought reading the diff was enough. It wasn't. I shipped something I couldn't debug. And when it broke, the AI couldn't debug it either. We just sat there, me and the model, both guessing, neither one of us with any ground under our feet. What I learned the hard way is the same thing the data now shows. That's exactly why I can see the trap, because I've been on both sides of it. There are 2 completely different things people call using AI to code, and we keep using one word for both. The first one makes you faster. You read what the model wrote, you'd have written something close to it yourself. It just saved you the typing. You're still in the driver's seat, the AI is the engine, you're the one who knows the road. The second one makes you dependent. You cannot actually tell whether the output is correct. You don't have the knowledge to check it. So you ship it and you pray. The first one is a power tool. The second one is a slot machine. A power tool makes a skilled person faster. A slot machine makes everyone feel like they're winning right up until the moment they're not. And here's the uncomfortable part. Most teams right now genuinely do not know which one they're playing. They feel the speed. The speed is real. The dashboard shipped, the demo landed, the investor nodded. What they can't feel yet is whether there's a floor underneath them or whether they've just been pulling a lever in the dark. So let me say the thing. Nobody selling a $49 build an app with AI course wants to say out loud, AI does not replace developers. It splits them in half. Group 1 stops learning. Why would they read the code? The model writes it. Reading the diff feels like homework when the magic box already gave you the answer. So they get fast. Genuinely fast. They produce an enormous amount of stuff. The problem is they're producing things they cannot maintain. And maintenance is where software actually lives. Code is written once and read, debugged, and patched 1,000 times after. When the model gets it wrong, and it gets it wrong constantly, that is not a flaw, I'm exaggerating. It's just the nature of the thing. Group 1 has no ground to stand on. They can't debug what they never understood. They can only reprompt and hope the dice land differently this time. Group 2 uses the exact same tools. Same model, same editor, same autocomplete. And it makes them more dangerous, not less. Because they read every diff. They know what an index is and why the query was slow without one. They know what a memory leak smells like. They look at a loop and see that it's O of n squared before it ever ships, and they catch it. For Group 2, the AI is not a replacement for understanding. It's a multiplier sitting on top of understanding. And anything times a bigger number gets bigger. Anything times 0 stays 0. Same tool. Opposite outcome. So sit with this because it's the whole video. The variable was never the AI. The variable is whether you understand the layer underneath the prompt. This is why the internet has been screaming two opposite things at you for years now, and both of them are true. AI makes developers more valuable. True. AI makes developers worse. Also true. They're not contradicting each other. They're describing two different groups of people and using the same word. And the hiring market, quietly, without announcing it, without a press release, is sorting every single person who codes into one pile or the other. You don't get to pick which pile you think you're in. The first time something breaks in production decides it for you. For a while, the strategy was simple and, honestly, kind of reasonable. Ship fast. Figure out the rest later. Velocity over correctness. Demo over durability. Get the thing in front of users and worry about the foundations when you have users to worry about. That strategy is ending. And here's the twist. It's not ending because the AI got worse. The AI got better. Dramatically better. That's not the problem. It's ending because later is now. Remember the bill I promised you. Here it is. This year, security researchers ran a scan across roughly 380,000 apps built with vibe coding tools. Over 2,000 of them had their entire database sitting in the open. No authentication. None. Readable by anyone who knew where to look. And we are not talking about throwaway side projects. Medical records, financial data, private messages, real data from real users behind a front door that was never locked because the AI never added the lock. And nobody on the team knew enough to ask why it wasn't there. Nobody noticed. Until someone did. That's not a horror story I made up to scare you. Those are launches that worked. Demos that landed exactly the way the 40-second clip promised. And a front door left standing wide open. Because the people shipping them couldn't read the lock. And it is not slowing down. Through 2026, the count of security holes traced straight back to AI-generated code has climbed month over month. The same shape of mistake, over and over. The missing check the model never thought to add. One recent month alone logged more than the entire year before it. This is what later is now actually means. The vibe-coded MVPs from last year, the ones that won the pitch, raised the round, got the press, they're hitting production. Real users, real load, real data that doesn't behave like the demo did. And the teams who cannot read their own codebase are discovering a sentence I want you to remember. You cannot prompt your way out of a system you never understood. The cloud bill is real. Inefficient code the model wrote at twice the necessary compute, multiplied by every user, billed monthly. And the 3 a.m. outage is real. At 3 a.m., the model is not your senior engineer. It's a confident stranger guessing. So here's where this actually lands. The future of coding with AI is not prompting harder. It's not a better wizard, a longer prompt, a secret phrase. It's the person holding the prompt knowing more than the prompt does. So the AI is a tool in your hand and not a crutch you can't walk without. The vibe coding crash is not the AI failing. The AI is doing exactly what it was built to do. The crash is the moment the people who learned the craft and the people who skipped it finally show up in the same Git blame. And you can suddenly tell, line by line, who is who. If you're not sure which group you're in right now, that's your answer. But I'm not going to leave you there. Because I told you I use AI every day. And I do. The point was never to stop. The point is to stay in group 2, to use the same tool the dependent crowd is using, and come out sharper instead of softer. That's the other side of this, the exact workflow. How I actually use AI to go faster without going dumber. The habits that keep my hand on the power tool and off the slot machine. That's the next video on this channel. How I actually use AI to code without losing the plot. This one was the diagnosis. That one is the cure. Watch them in that order.